Let's begin. Today's August 11th, 2024, and we're solving the Daily Turing Machine Puzzle. Today's puzzle uses the following 6 criteria cards. Criteria card 1, 7, 10, 14, 18, and 22. And the puzzle uses the green verification cards. The code above is your way to get more information on today's puzzle by searching the code on turingmachine.info. Let's go solve. So in the grid above, we've got our 6 criteria cards. On the top row, we've got criteria card A, criteria card B, and criteria card C. On the bottom row, we've got criteria card D, criteria card E, and finally criteria card F. Criteria card A looks at our first digit, the triangle digit, and compares that value to a 1. So should the value of triangle be equal to 1, or should it be greater than 1? Criteria card B looks at our last digit, the circle digit, and the Turing machine will let us know whether its value is even or odd. Criteria card C looks at the 3-digit solution, and the Turing machine will let us know how many of those digits should be 4. Should there be no 4s? Should there be a single 4? Perhaps 2, maybe all 3 are 4. Criteria card D will look at our 3 digits, triangle, square, and circle, and will let us know which one is the absolute smallest. Should triangle be the smallest? Should square be the smallest? Or should circle be the smallest? Criteria card E again looks at our 3 digits, triangle, square, and circle, but this time we'll add the 3 digits together, and the Turing machine will let us know whether the sum is an even quantity or an odd quantity. And finally, criteria card F again looks at our 3-digit solution and will let us know a little bit about the ordering of our 3-digit solution from triangle to square to circle. Should the values be in an ascending order, meaning that they're increasing, as in the example 135? Should they be descending or decreasing, as in the example 421, or should they have no order, as in the example 231? Notice that in that example for no order, at first it increases from 2 to 3, but then it decreases from 3 to 1. It's that shift that is one way to define that the 3 digits have no order. We've also seen in other puzzle solutions where if the digits are consecutive, if they're consecutive, but they are equal. Say, for example, 2, 2, 4. The fact that it goes from 2 to 2, it stays at 2. There's no increase, no decrease. That's another way to define a 3-digit solution to have no order. And remember, the objective of today's puzzle is to find that unique 3-digit code that abides by all of the 6 criteria cards we just discussed. And we're going to start off with an initial proposal of 314. So the first thing I want to test is I want to know a little bit more about that last digit. So let's go ahead and test criteria card B. Okay, so if you notice, I did pick an even 4. The Turing machine approves, so it agrees that yes, the digit should be even for circle. So let's go ahead and type that up in our notes in section B, and that is that circle is an even digit. And since it is even, that means we can cross out all the odds. So circle cannot be a 1, 3, 4, a 5. The next thing I'd like to find out is whether the sum of the 3 digits is even or odd. So let's go ahead and test criteria card E. Okay, so again, we're going to add up our 3 digits. So if I add up my proposal, 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8. That sum is even. The Turing machine approves of that. So let's go ahead and type that up in our notes for section E. And that is that triangle plus square plus circle is indeed even. And since we already know that circle is already even, that sort of informs us a little bit about what triangle and square may look like. In order for the overall sum to remain even, having circle be even, that means that triangle and square have to either be both odd or both even. In both those cases, if you add two odds or two evens, that sum is an even quantity, and you have to add that to the circle being even so that the overall sum remains even. So we're looking for either odd, even, or all of them even. Which brings up an interesting case. We do have that criteria card C that tells us how many evens there are. The two evens don't necessarily have to be equal to each other. They could be different. They could be one of each, 2 and 4, or they could be a double. Same thing for the odds. They could be both different odds or the same odd. Let's see, what else? We also have that criteria card A, which compares the triangle digit to 1. So let's see. And we also have that digit, which tells us which is the absolute smallest. So the question is, how many 4s can there be? Can there actually be? Can they all be 4? Well, I don't think they can all be 4, because if they were all 4, then we would know that there would be no order. So I think it's fair to say that they all can't be 4. So that then, and I do have a single 4 in my proposal. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's correct, but we do have circle as an even quantity. Let's see. I guess if they were all even, but even though we don't have that way to distinguish the 3 digits, we would know that 2 would have to be the smallest. And then you could have 2 4s. Let's see. And besides maybe criteria card D, there is no reference to square. So somehow square is going to have to be forced into something. Not sure what at this point. So let's see. If triangle were, say, 1, that would force square to be odd. And if we're dealing with, say, something that has no order, and say we needed a 4, that would mean that the solution would be something like maybe 154. So yeah, let's go ahead and test, even though it would only eliminate, I guess if I get it wrong, it would let us know that it was 1. But if I get it right, it just means that it's not 1. And so I don't know how many others I would have to pick from. But yeah, let's go ahead and test criteria card A. Okay, so yes, correct. It is incorrect that triangle is greater than 1. 3 is greater than 1. That's not true based on the Turing machine. So in fact, what it's telling me is that triangle should be equal to 1. So let's go type that up. Equal to 1. And so of course, if it's equal to 1, that means it can't be 2, 3, or 4. Okay, which means then, as I stated before, we need 2 odds. So it can't be even. Square cannot be even, so it can't be 2 or 4. And well, that does it for this round. We've already completed our 3 Turing tests. Now we're going to go into the phase where we're going to discuss how to construct a good second round proposal. So we already did A, and that's settled. So is B. So what we didn't test is if there's a 4, and at this point it's 50-50. It's either there or it's not. And then there's also the smallest, and the sum. I think the sum is settled. It's going to be an even quantity, 2 odds and an even, and then we have this no ordering. So as I mentioned before we began this phase, it could be that the solution is 1, 5, and of course I said 4 just because we do have that criteria card 4. So it's either there or not. So let's see. Well, let's see. If we say no order, you could have 1, 1, 2, 4, 2 or 4. So that would be a viable candidate. Yeah. So somehow we need squared to be forced into something. Oh, maybe, let's see, can we say, well, neither square nor triangle can be, oh wow, this is interesting. Neither triangle nor square, well, only if they're both equal. I was going to say they can't be the smallest. But, well, let's put it this way. Square definitely can't be the smallest because now that triangle is 1. There's no way square could be the smallest. And, well, at this point, I think it's safe to say that triangle has to be the smallest. Right? That's the only way that it could be. Wow, so we may not have to test that. Is that right? Wow, that's very interesting. Okay. Yeah, it seems triangle has to be the smallest. Okay, so that's the smallest. Now we're down to 3 and 5. And I guess as long as there is no order and there's a 4, now I think it's safe to say that yes, it could be 1, 5, 4, or even 1, 5, 2. We need to avoid that 3. And so, let's see. Yeah, as long as you have a 4, 1 and 4, and you want it to be no order, that would mean that you'd have to pick a 5. So yeah, let's go with 1, 5, 4. And so because you could still have technically 1, 3, 2 as no order, let's verify that you have 4 in no order. So yeah, let's go ahead and test criteria card C. Okay, it's true. You do have a single 4-digit in the solution. So let's type that up in the notes, that there is a single 4-digit. And of course that means that circle cannot be 2, because that's the only digit that can be even. And I think we're going to say we're going to deduce that triangle is the smallest. So let's just type that up. Okay, which means that it can't be 1, and then let's say that, or let's actually test criteria card F. Well, let's say yeah, I guess it technically could still be increasing, but let's go ahead and test F. And yeah, that's correct. So F is basically there is no order. Okay, and that would basically eliminate 1, and we're eliminating 1 because, you know, we're deducing that triangle is the smallest, and we can eliminate 3 because we need the solution to have no order. And so it looks like our solution is 154. Computer's lagging a little bit, but there you go, 154. Can't tell if that's, yep. Okay, so let's go verify. So verify 154. Excellent. All right, now let's go and see how we did versus Turing Machine. The fact that we did one less question than there are criteria cards is also often a good indication that yes, we did beat the Turing Machine. So let's see, we did A, B, E, and then C, F. So A, B, E in the first round, and then C, F in the second. And yeah, so we beat it by 1 question, which is what we sort of figured since we did have 6 criteria cards. Well, I think it was a good puzzle. What are your thoughts? Add them to the comments. Give it a thumbs up so that more people can find this channel, and make sure to hit subscribe to be notified of any future videos. Well, until next time, have a great one.